Hey everyone, welcome to the ATDev Podcast. I'm happy to be joined today by Dr. Siva from the University of Pittsburgh. Hey Siva, how's it going today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you for being here.
Thank
And yeah, really excited for this conversation. And yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things to cover. But yeah, would you mind just introducing yourself and talking a little bit about your background for our listeners?
Absolutely. Yeah, my name is Shiva. I work at the Human Engineering Research Laboratories at the University of Pittsburgh, and we're also affiliated with the US Department of Veteran Affairs. Originally, I had a background in finance, and I worked in finance for around 6 years. And then I met my current boss, Rory Cooper, in Switzerland. And since then, I think it might be the Rory Cooper effect, but I quit my job and changed career paths. And 8 years later, I'm here and still here in Pittsburgh. So I managed to do my master's, PhD, finish my postdoc, and now I have the fortunate pleasure of being the chief of staff for the RAMP project. And Owen stuck with me for at least for the next 5 years. I'm very fortunate to be a part to do. And apart from my work life, I play wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis. I play in two adaptive sports and I have a lot of fun doing so.
Ah, that's awesome. And yes, I'm excited to be working together for the next 5 years or and hopefully even more. Yeah, I think it's one of the themes of that has come across in a lot of the conversations we've had is just really how interdisciplinary assistive technology is and
Hmm.
how it brings people together from all different walks of life and
Mm.
how we end up building something together. Yeah, so I think to start, it'd be really interesting to hear a little bit more about the Human Engineering Research Laboratory. I think this is one of the first times we've talked about this and the RAMP project on the podcast. So yeah, it'd be great if you could just give like a high level overview of really what HERL is and what some of its main objectives are.
Sure. Essentially, HERL is all about creating assistive technology for people with disabilities by people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And we're quite fortunate to have the plethora of stakeholders within our team with a wide variety of experiences, from engineers to clinicians, people who worked in the sales area, people schmucks like myself that have worked in the finance sector, and yeah, people from all walks of life and from different countries, and people with different disabilities, visible and that are not visible as well,
Yeah.
to be able to here together for the last over 35 years, creating all sorts of assistive technology that then gets translated to people such as yourself, myself, and to the rest of the world. So that's essentially what we are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I think you touched on something in technology with the end user, and that's just, I think, something that is so important and has really kind of impact from an engineering perspective is that when you're designing a technology in collaboration with the people that are going to be using it, you ultimately come out with a better product. And I think that's really great.
For example, you, myself, and many other listeners on this call, we live it every single day. We have certain challenges every day. We have a personal sort of vested interest to make sure that whatever is produced out there and put out to the rest of the world for other people to use, it's if it doesn't work for us, it's not going to work for anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's also an interesting design philosophy around disability and viewing the environment as a factor in the disabling condition. And I think that it's something I've been thinking a lot about recently is that maybe I myself in the body I have is not the disabling factor. It's the environment that we exist in, and the environment is not necessarily designed for people with certain needs. And as you can make technology to adopt the environment, that changes the nature of disability.
Unfortunately, changing the environment around us to have no steps and be curb cut free it is not really plausible. But what we do have control of is the technology, as you rightly pointed out, to do. And if we can make technology like that be able to handle different environments for us, it's not the fortunate thing with technology and when you create such devices is that it's not just applicable for people with disabilities, it's applicable for many other people.
Right.
And I allude back to that very first thing that I just said about curb cuts, right? That curb cut effect, yes, it's extremely helpful for people with disabilities if they're using walking aids or wheelchairs to get up and off the main road to the sidewalk. But then you've got pushchairs and then you've got delivery trucks who all benefit from just that curb cut. And that's what we're hoping to do with the technology that we create.
Yeah, that's great. When you make something universally designed for everyone,
Exactly.
it benefits everyone.
And the
Yeah,
thing is that we're not, when it comes to tech that we create, I don't want things to be it's just for people with disabilities. It's just for that community. Even again, another example is doing speech to text.
yeah,
How many of us that don't have a real need for it but find it super convenient to do to do speech to text on their iPhones instead of manually texting out their text message?
yeah,
And that's just another example again where it provides so much more convenience and applicable to all.
yeah, absolutely. And so you mentioned about your adaptive sports and
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear a bit more about that and what is that like?
Let's start off with wheelchair basketball.
Yeah,
Now, conventionally, if you have an injury and you have upper limb function, then if you have a disability across your lower extremities, then you'll be eligible to play wheelchair basketball.
mm,
Now, with that, it's quite inclusive in the fact that every person with a disability has different functional levels, right? Not everyone has the same core function, not everyone has the same leg function, but when you play wheelchair basketball, it feels like you're all on a similar playing field.
yeah,
And it's a lot of fun, and we get to play with people with different backgrounds across different states, and it's fairly competitive. But half the challenge for a lot of us in the community in different teams across the United States is getting access to accessible facilities.
mm, yeah,
When it comes to wheelchair basketball, it's if you don't have charities and the donations, and if you yourself are not rich, it becomes another barrier for people to access to be able to play such a sport and be a part of that environment. And
yeah,
even in the university settings, very few places offer scholarships for wheelchair basketball. But the scholarships available for able-bodied basketball or football or many other sports. So there becomes a huge barrier in that.
yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. I think the Paralympics is, I think in people's minds, there's definitely a different tier for
Mm.
athletes with disabilities, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And I think that's probably a societal stigma to
Mm.
some extent.
Yeah, there's a lot of societal stigma there. Wheelchair tennis, it gets even more challenging with that. Trying to get court space, I'm extremely fortunate about the community that we have in Pittsburgh, and I'm part of a collective called the Highland Park Tennis Club here in Pittsburgh. Now, the original board have been extremely supportive, about opening a wheelchair tennis division here for us, and I've managed to secure a grant from the Craig Nielsen Foundation to actually
Nice.
expand that so that we can get more kids with disabilities to play wheelchair tennis, to be able to fund to get sports chairs for them, get them started, get them out and about, and we can play outside or indoors. And we've got the facility and infrastructure now to be able to do. Slowly but surely, we're growing as a team in our wheelchair tennis division and just trying to get more people included in the sports, because when it comes to wheelchair tennis, it's a non-contact sport. And
Yeah.
I have a few friends that, unfortunately, if it's a contact sport, they are unable to compete. And you
Right.
do need different alternatives. And wheelchair tennis is such that it gives you good cardio. When you're holding a tennis racket and moving with your chair, you have to have some strength there too to do it. Builds quite a lot of good upper body strength for you.
Yeah,
It's
honestly, it sounds even harder than regular tennis.
Yeah, because you don't have legs. You're using your arms to push your wheelchair and hold a racket and play at the same time. So it does get a bit challenging to do, but you forget all of that. When you start playing, yes, at the beginning, like with every other sport, there's a learning curve to it.
Yeah.
And with wheelchair sports, it is a bit harder, especially if you're not used to moving your chair in such an agile fashion all the time. It doesn't become second nature. It takes a while for that to get ingrained in you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think recreation for people with disabilities is
Mm,
something that is so important, both physically and mentally, to be engaged. And I think that that's what we aim to do is have programs that are fully inclusive for people and allow people to participate fully, regardless of ability. And I think wheelchair tennis and basketball and other sports are really great and important examples of that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious, maybe looking a little bit more to your academic career, can you talk a little bit about some of your areas of research and what are you focused on?
When I first came into the United States and started with my master's, I focused on robotic wheelchairs, MeBot, which is what we've expanded to. So, MeBot is a robotic wheelchair that can self level on uneven terrains and also curb climb.
Yeah,
So, this was my first introductory into assistive technology on its own, as its own thing, and really into robotics. Now, my background in finance and in actual financial mathematics was more about stochastics and all about modeling, and a
yeah.
lot of my work was around Markov chains, and
Oh, yeah,
quite a bit of background in that area. But it's not until I got into my master's and PhD level that I really started to see the applicability to that segment of it. So I started looking at curb climbing, recognizing curbs on sidewalks and being able to traverse them. Can you actually line up or get close to a curb and be like, yep, can I climb that curb? Yes. And the wheelchair should be able to align itself perpendicular towards the curb, and then it should automatically climb said curb.
yeah,
And that was very much my focus. Now, I didn't do this on my own. What I needed to do is, even back in 2019, 2020, much of this work shouldn't have been new. There was a lot of works in computer vision around drones
yeah,
back then, looking at rooftop detection. So I literally had to scout around GitHub to see how are people detecting planes. If you think around your ground level and the sidewalk level, they're two different planes,
yeah,
two different surfaces. Theoretically, they should be parallel towards each other, so we know that, and it's just raised, right?
yeah,
So wherever your ground is and wherever you are at that time, that's one area. And then the area that you want to climb on is on the same axis, but just higher up or lower
yeah,
down. So going down a curve. So I wanted to see, how can I detect those two different surfaces? And one of the neat fashions that I found is this work on drones. So I found a gentleman who was working at the University of Michigan, who was working on drones and plane detection for rooftops. So I reached out to him and collaborated with him, and we were able to come up with a fast and a quick way of able to detecting curbs, and wherever you detect, able to detect like a centroid to that curb and be able to line up to it and climb straight onto it.
Yeah.
It's especially with assistive technology is we can leverage technology and research that's already done around us, adapt it and make it accessible for all or apply it to what we need to. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, what an interesting journey and taking different ideas from different fields.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. And then so looking forward, I know we are doing some very exciting research at the moment with the RAMP and ARPA-H projects. I'm curious just from your personal opinions, what are you excited about for the future of assistive technology and how do you see the future working for people with disabilities like yourself and others?
I want this ramp chair that we're about to create allow you, I, or many other people that actually need it to be more independent.
Yeah,
That's what I'm excited about. These
yeah,
mundane tasks, such as getting a cup of coffee at Starbucks, getting a drink, going out to socialize, going back and forth to work, these are trivial tasks that a lot of people take for granted. I, w- I want to see that happen, where it becomes a trivial task for RAM.
yeah, yeah. Ah, that's beautiful. I love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today. It's really always a pleasure to speak with you. And
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely learned a lot today. And thank you again for your time.
Absolutely, no worries. You're very welcome.
And if people want to learn more about you, your work, or HERL, where can they go for more information?
If you go to hurl.pit.edu, you should be able to find us more about our lab and information on there. So I'll repeat that again. It's HERL, so HERL .pit.edu.
Great. Thank you. And thank you to our listeners. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with someone who also might find it interesting. All right. Until next time. Thanks, everybody.